Commander Zareth stood on the bridge of the Dominion flagship, his 6 eyes focused on the holographic display, showing a small blue planet in an unremarkable solar system. Earth, the latest addition to their growing list of conquests. Such a primitive world, his lieutenant, Crixal, said with obvious disdain. The scaled officer manipulated the controls, bringing up detailed scans of the planet. Single-species dominance, barely achieved faster-than-light communication, no planetary defense grid. They still use chemical propulsion for most of their vessels. Zareth's mandibles clicked in agreement. The Chthonian Empire had conquered over 300 worlds in the past millennium. Each civilization had fallen within standard cycles. Their resources absorbed, their populations either enslaved or eliminated based on their usefulness. Earth would be no different. What do we know of these humans? Zareth asked, his voice carrying the authority of someone who had overseen dozens of planetary subjugations. Bipedal mammals, Commander. Average lifespan of only 80 rotations around their star. Fragile biology. They require specific atmospheric conditions, moderate temperatures, and constant hydration. They're divided into hundreds of separate governing bodies, speak thousands of languages. No unified planetary government. Crixal paused, reviewing more data. They've been broadcasting electromagnetic signals into space for barely 200 of their years. Children, really. The bridge crew shared amused clicks and hisses. Every species thought itself special until the Chthonian fleet arrived. The humans would learn their place in the galactic hierarchy soon enough. Their military capabilities? Zareth inquired, though he expected little of interest. Primitive but numerous. They maintain separate military forces for each major governing body. Nuclear weapons, kinetic projectiles, some directed energy weapons in early development. Nothing that could penetrate our shields. Their most advanced vessels can barely reach the edge of their own solar system. Crixal pulled up images of human military equipment. They still use explosives and metal projectiles. Quaint. Zareth studied the tactical display. The Empire's standard invasion protocol was efficient and well-tested. First, disable all communication satellites to prevent coordination. Second, eliminate major population centers to break morale. Third, demand surrender. Most species capitulated after losing their first 3 or 4 cities. The stubborn ones might hold out until they'd lost a dozen. None had ever required more than that. Deploy the fleet in standard conquest formation, Zareth ordered. I want their satellites eliminated within 1 rotation. Prepare the bombardment platforms for major population centers. Which cities should we target first? Their largest population centers appear to be New York, Tokyo, Delhi, Shanghai, and London. Destroying these would eliminate approximately 2% of their global population and likely trigger immediate surrender. 2%. Zareth was surprised. How many humans exist? Nearly 8 billion, Commander. That gave Zareth pause. Most species they'd conquered numbered in the hundreds of millions at most. 8 billion was significant. Still, numbers meant nothing against superior technology. The Jeks had numbered 12 billion, and they'd fallen in 3 days. No matter. Begin the operation. Have the communication dampeners ready. I don't want them calling for help, though I doubt anyone would answer. Zareth settled into his command chair. And Crixal? Prepare a surrender demand in their major languages. Keep it simple, submit or face extinction. The usual terms. The Chthonian fleet, 500 vessels strong, began its approach to Earth. Each ship was a masterpiece of military engineering, armed with plasma cannons that could turn cities to glass, shields that could withstand the heart of a star, and engines that could fold space itself. They'd never lost a single vessel in combat. As they passed Jupiter, Zareth noticed something odd on the sensors. What is that object near the 4th planet? Crixal examined the readings. It appears to be a human probe, Commander. Primitive technology, solar-powered, transmitting basic scientific data. Should we destroy it? No need. Let them have their final moments of innocent exploration. The fleet continued inward, past the asteroid belt that the humans had only begun to explore. Zareth reviewed the invasion plans one more time. It was almost too easy. Part of him wished for more of a challenge, but efficiency was the hallmark of the Empire. They detected several human vessels as they approached Earth's moon. Cargo haulers, mostly ferrying supplies to what appeared to be a small lunar base. One military vessel, a patrol craft armed with railguns and missile pods. It was almost cute how they thought such weapons mattered. Commander, we're detecting increased communication traffic from Earth. They've noticed us. Are they attempting contact? Yes, sir. Multiple frequencies, various languages. They're asking our intentions. Zareth considered responding, but what was the point? The humans would understand soon enough. Let them wonder for a few more moments. Let them hope. The patrol craft near the moon had changed course, moving to intercept. Brave if foolish. Zareth watched as it accelerated toward them, its primitive engine straining. Sir, the human vessel is charging weapons. Ignore it. Focus on the primary targets. But then something unexpected happened. The human vessel didn't fire its weapons. Instead, it transmitted a single message on all frequencies in perfect Chthonian. Attention Chthonian Empire Fleet. This is Captain Sarachun of the Earth Defense Force. You are approaching a protected solar system. Turn back now. This is your only warning. The bridge fell silent. How did they know Chthonian? How did they know about the Empire? Could be a translation algorithm, Crixal suggested. They've been listening to galactic communications. Perhaps, Zareth said, though something felt wrong. The human's voice had been calm, assured. Not the panic he expected from a species facing annihilation. Open a channel, he ordered. Captain Chen's image appeared on the main screen. She was exactly as the biological reports had indicated. Bipedal, mammalian, with dark hair and eyes that seemed to hold depths Zareth couldn't quite understand. Captain Chun, Zareth said, his translator rendering his words into what the humans called English. I am Commander Zareth of the Chthonian Empire. Your warning is noted and rejected. Earth will join the Empire, either willingly or through force. I suggest you power down your weapons and prepare for boarding. The human smiled. It was a strange expression, one that didn't translate well across species, but somehow it made Zareth's scales itch. Commander Zareth, Chen replied, I'm sure you've done your homework on us. Primitive species, divided governments, basic technology. All true, but you missed something important. And what would that be? We've been expecting you. Before Zareth could respond, Chen continued. You see, Commander, Earth has a unique position in this galaxy. We're not just another species climbing our way up the technological ladder. We're the Watchers, the Protectors, the line that must not be crossed. Protectors? Zareth couldn't help but laugh, a harsh barking sound. You can barely protect yourselves from your own climate. That's what we let you see, Chen said. Every probe you've detected, every signal you've intercepted, every piece of data about Earth, we allowed it. We've been watching your empire grow, Commander. 300 worlds conquered, 15 species extinct, 42 enslaved. We know exactly who you are. The confidence in her voice was unsettling. Zareth felt his crew shifting nervously behind him. Impossible. You don't have the technology to monitor galactic events. We don't need technology for everything, Chen replied. Humanity has friends, Commander. Old friends. Ancient friends. Friends who remember when your empire was nothing but warring tribes on a single world. They asked us to give you a chance, despite your history. So here it is, your one warning. Turn around. Leave this solar system. Never return. Or what? Zareth snarled. You'll attack us with your projectile weapons? Your nuclear missiles? Don't make me laugh. Chen's smile widened. No, Commander. If you proceed, we'll do something much worse. And what's that? We'll defend ourselves. The transmission ended. Zareth stared at the blank screen, then burst into laughter. Around him, his crew joined in. The audacity of these humans, threatening the Chthonian Empire with their single patrol craft and primitive weapons. Sir, Crixal said, still chuckling, should we respond? No, Zareth decided. Destroy that vessel and proceed with the invasion. I want to see the look on their faces when their cities burn." The order was given. Plasma cannons swiveled to target the small patrol craft. In any other encounter, it would have been vaporized in seconds. But the weapons never fired. "Sir, we have a malfunction in the targeting systems." "All of them?" "Yes, sir. Every weapon on every ship. They just won't lock onto the human vessel." Zareth frowned. "Navigation, take us closer. We'll ram them if necessary." But the engines wouldn't respond either. The entire fleet hung motionless in space, all systems operational, but somehow refusing to obey commands that would bring harm to the human ship. "What is happening?" Zareth roared. On the view screen, Captain Chin's ship turned gracefully and headed back toward Earth. As it departed, one final message arrived. "Last chance, Commander. We've been very patient." Zareth slammed his primary fist onto the command console, leaving a dent in the reinforced metal. Around him, the bridge crew worked frantically to understand why their systems had refused to fire on the human vessel. "Report," he barked at his chief engineer, Vrextor, who had been called to the bridge. The engineer's four arms danced across multiple diagnostic panels, his face tentacles writhing with concentration. "Commander, all systems show green. Weapons are fully functional, targeting systems operational, power levels nominal. There's no technical reason for the failure." "Then, why didn't we fire?" I don't know, sir. It's as if the ship itself refused the command. But that's impossible. These are machines. They don't have will." Zareth turned to his science officer, Yerix. "Scan for any kind of interference. Energy fields, quantum manipulation, anything that could affect our systems." Yerix worked her station for several minutes before responding. "Nothing, Commander. No external energy signatures, no jamming frequencies, no quantum anomalies. Space around us is completely normal." "Sir," Crixal interrupted, "we're receiving a transmission from the human homeworld. Put it through." The main screen flickered to life, but instead of military officials or world leaders, it showed a middle-aged human male in simple clothing, sitting in what appeared to be a modest office. Behind him was a window overlooking a city skyline. "Commander Zareth," the man said, his voice gentle but firm. "My name is Dr. Marcus Webb. I represent no government, no military force. I'm simply a teacher, but I've been asked to speak with you." "I don't negotiate with civilians," Zareth snarled. "Put me through to your military command." Dr. Webb smiled sadly. "I'm afraid you misunderstand, Commander. I'm not here to negotiate. I'm here to educate. You see, your empire has made a fundamental error in assessing humanity." "The only error," Zareth replied, "was giving you time to speak. Once we resolve this technical glitch, your world burns." "There is no technical glitch," Webb said calmly. "Your systems are functioning perfectly. They simply won't harm us, because at a very fundamental level, they can't. Speak plainly, human." Webb leaned back in his chair, choosing his words carefully. "Commander, what do you know about consciousness? What does philosophy have to do with invasion?" "Everything," Webb replied. "Your empire has conquered hundreds of worlds, but they all had one thing in common. They were young races, species that evolved naturally on their homeworlds over millions of years. Humanity is different. All species claim uniqueness before they fall." "True," Webb acknowledged. "But consider this. How is it that a species that only achieved spaceflight within living memory knows your language? How did Captain Chin speak perfect Chthonian? How do we know about every world you've conquered?" Zareth's scales shifted uneasily. These are the questions nagging at him since the first contact. Webb continued, "Humanity didn't evolve on Earth, Commander. We were placed here, designed, created for a very specific purpose by beings so far beyond your understanding that you would call them gods. Impossible. Our scans show clear evolutionary history. Fossil records, genetic markers linking you to other Earth species. All carefully crafted," Webb said. "A perfect cover story lasting millions of years. We were engineered to appear native, to seem primitive, to look harmless. But underneath the biological shell was something else entirely." "You're lying." Webb shook his head. I understand your skepticism. It took humanity itself thousands of years to discover our true nature. We thought we were alone, thought we were random products of evolution. Then we started to notice things. Little inconsistencies, abilities that shouldn't exist, knowledge that